Hello.
Why such a short hello?
Hello. We're back.
We're back again.
But for how long? Whoa. This is episode 7 of series 2 of Coast Pop Rambles, a continuation of episode 6 that happened 5 months ago.
Only 5 months ago.
You know, if you're catching up with this for the first time, then lucky you.
Yeah.
But if you've had to wait 5 months for this,
unlucky you.
I hope it's worth it. Do you want to say why it's been so long?
Yeah, we sort of ripped the house apart again. So we didn't really have many rooms to live in. One of which was Harry's office, and it was just a bit of chaos, really, wasn't it? In terms of we didn't have any time to do anything other than frantically do DIY at different points, because like different work people were coming and due, and yeah, it was mental. And then obviously sort of got out of the swing of things, but really it's only in the last like 2 months that we actually have our house back to normal. So
yeah, and even after the initial kind of stuff, there was things going on. We had Taylor and Sarah.
We did
come to stay very briefly before we went to some UK theme parks. And then I don't know what happened after that.
We had a holiday.
Just did random things.
Forgot that we did a podcast.
Yeah. I guess we're just trying to catch up with life generally.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Here it is. Get
ready for another 6 episodes for a half a year hiatus again.
Mm-hmm.
The past 3 of those 6, we've been talking about our, I was going to say recent visit to Walt Disney World in Florida and Universal Orlando.
Not so recent anymore.
No, not very recent at all. That happened back in late January, early February, so it's been a hot minute. But so far, we've covered... What parks have we covered? Magic Kingdom. We've covered Hollywood Studios. We've covered Epcot.
Yeah. So now we need to complete the Disneys.
Complete the quad Disney park. What's the...
set.
You know, you got a trio. What's the next one? Quadruple.
Would be a quad, wouldn't it?
The
quartet?
Quad.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, Animal Kingdom. Tell us a bit about Animal Kingdom, Zoe.
Tell us a bit about Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom was...
Is it gone?
Yeah, a little eulogy. No, it was the most anticipated of the parks, which made me a little bit scared because I didn't think it was going to actually live up to the hype that we thought. Not the hype, but like especially Pandora specifically. Was it going to live up to the hype?
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert, it did. So...
But tell us about Animal Kingdom.
What about it?
What is it?
Animal Kingdom is a theme park in Florida where it's basically a zoo, but not.
Yeah.
It's a theme park zoo.
Yeah.
A very, very nice one because everything sort of goes, and they have like allegedly massive enclosures for the animals.
Yeah.
And they have a bit of a safari like ride.
Yeah.
Attraction. So it's like animals, natural vibe of theming. So there's like
nature and the environment.
Yeah. They're meant to be doing a bit of conservation work as well, and that sort of thing. We'll come on to that a little bit later, I think, because we've got some fun stories on that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's just nice vibes, isn't it? It's all like, there's like an Africa area, there's a Asia, there's a silly little dinosaur area, car park, and obviously there's Pandora, which is incredible. What else can you say about Animal Kingdom?
It's the newest park of the 4.
Yeah. It doesn't really feel that new though.
Well, it's not. It's sort of 25
exactly.
years old or whatever. I can't remember. So
The
yeah.
weenie is a massively massive tree with
the tree of life.
Yeah, with the carvings on it and the green leaves.
And the overly green leaves that are like radioactive green coloured.
Yeah, that was like when we saw the weenie, I was like, that's huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely did look too green.
It was too green. Maybe it was the time of year we went. Maybe in summer
I think that's what's quite hard because the leaves around it surely change, like the actual trees leaves.
To a degree, I guess they must. Yeah.
What about in September when it was not?
But I don't know.
How do the seasons work in America?
Exactly. In Florida or Orlando specifically.
It's hot still.
Well, this is it. They don't really. I don't think the seasons are as obvious as it is where we are.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, Animal Kingdom was the second park that we visited.
When
we were in Orlando.
Yeah.
The first we went to Magic Kingdom, and then it was a Saturday that we went, and I'd heard that from friends of mine who'd been that of the Disney parks, Animal Kingdom is a lot more manageable.
On a Saturday.
At the weekend, just generally.
Yeah.
So we opted to visit on a Saturday, which I didn't know how I felt about that, but it turns out it's very true.
Yeah.
In terms
it wasn't any different, was it really, to the other days we went to it?
No. I mean, it was slightly busier in the sense that things got busier quicker, but they were still manageable.
Yeah.
Is what I would say, you know. But no, it never felt overly crowded. You know?
The safari was quite a long queue, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was about an hour. But that's on par with pretty much every major ride, all of the other ones, you know. So I don't really mind. Things like Expedition Everest was 40 minutes.
Yeah, ridiculously short.
It said 50, but it was 30, and it went down to about 30.
It just moves as well because it's such like quick dispatch.
Yeah. So and then the other stuff you just didn't wait for. Even Dinosaur, we didn't wait for on a Saturday, or barely. It was like 10 minutes. The show's fine. I mean, it's mainly just Pandora, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, you know, unless you manage to go at a time where it's slightly less busy in that area, it's relatively easy to just do it at the beginning or do it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you remember what we did? In what order?
Well, no, because it just blurs with the other days we went there, really.
Yeah. Well, the other days you went there were fairly similar in the sense that it was always
rope drop, flight of passage,
faff around. Well, I think most of the time it's like rope drop, flight of passage, go and do the safari.
Yeah.
Maybe go and ride Dinosaur and Expedition Everest, and that was about it, really.
Yeah.
So, anyway, tell us about the safari.
The safari was nice. It was weird because we've done the Chessington one.
Oh, Safari.
Yeah.
Wonder where they got that one from.
Yeah, exactly, which is a rip-off. So, like, I'd already done something like that, which is a bit strange because it's, like, quite a unique thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it was cool. Like, the people who did the talking on the drivers of the Jeeps or whatever they are were really good and, like, entertaining enough. And then we just saw, like, every single animal, didn't we, really?
Yeah, we did pretty well. We had a tip that we should go in the morning or the evening. I think that's what they
not
said.
when the sun's high or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So we went... Well, we pretty much did Pandora Flight Passage and Navi River Journey and then went straight to the safari every time. So both of the times...
like mid-morning that we did it.
Yeah, like 10.
Yeah.
9:30. Between 9 and 10, I guess. But yeah, no, we managed to see pretty much everything, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. It was good, like, I don't know, I just find it's a cool thing. It's just weird that all the animals are just, like, live there.
But it is a huge place, though.
Yeah, but then why are they
It takes ages to drive through it.
Why are they all, like, just chilling right where you can see them, do you know what I mean?
But they're not always, or are they?
No. I don't know, it just makes me wonder, like, what the rest of it's like.
And they would be so desensitized to all of the noises and the transport anyway that they wouldn't care. You know?
Yeah, well, let's not get into a discussion about animal rights.
No.
But yeah, it's cool. It's like obviously fits really well with the park and everything, and it's like different. So, yeah. Obviously, it was better than the Chessington one.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Although the Chessington one's not that bad compared. It's not terrible.
I mean, it's not great.
No, but it's not, like, considering, like, how much space they probably have and stuff like that.
Relative, yeah. 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 It's an interesting format. I don't know how much I really care for it as a thing to do. You know? I don't know.
It's like, when you say it out loud, it's like, oh, that's cool. But then when you do it, you're like, okay.
I guess in the moment it is quite interesting, but...
I don't know, yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it?
It is a weird one. Yeah. I think the strangest one is like Colmarden, where you instead of being, instead of you're in a car or on a ride of some description, you're on a sky ride. Gondola system that goes above all of these acres and acres of...
But that one, I think because we've been on that one, that's what I'm talking about with this one, where that one, you couldn't really see that many animals. It had to be a special moment. Do you know, like when we saw that bear and it was like, we hadn't seen any other bears in that massive enclosure. It was a huge enclosure, and just so happened to be a bear like in sight, because obviously there's trees and stuff blocking your view and things. Like that one feels a bit less intrusive in terms of like you're just going above them and they're like got their own space and there's a lot of space.
Yeah, you're never really going through it.
Yeah,
definitely.
But obviously going through it is cool because you're close to the animals. But then, yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting, like the different ones they have.
Yeah, yeah.
While we were there, we went to that little Starbucks and got the world's miniest Starbucks sandwich for breakfast. I don't know if we talked about this in the other episodes, but it was like, the Starbucks is weird because at home, if you get a Starbucks or a Costa, they have loads of food selections and like breakfast things and like just loads of food options. And then we went to this Starbucks and there was like 3 things you could have. And they were like literally the size of the palm of my hand, like tiny.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good, but like, yeah, it was really weird, wasn't it?
It was all cake options, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Never like savoury
Sandwiches,
things,
yeah.
Sandwiches or like breakfast items. It was always just cake.
Yeah.
Of some description.
Yeah. And then we got a Joffrey's coffee.
They were good.
We like a Joffrey's.
Yeah. We wish we bought some when we were out there, because it is very nice coffee.
It is good coffee.
Definitely enjoyed it throughout. Even the one you get at the hotel.
Yeah, the coffee bags.
Yeah. Very good. But we needed it because it was cold.
Yeah, it was cold, wasn't it?
It was cold. The first few days of our
only the
there,
first like 2 days we were cold, and after that, boiling.
Yeah, because the next day was hot actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was literally the first 3 days. Because we were wearing jumpers, and I remember it was probably like 19 degrees or something, which is not necessarily
it's not even cold, but
you know, for that part of the world, I guess relatively it is cold. So,
next we went to do the what's it called? Like it's probably Friends in Flight or something.
Yeah, Feathered Friends in Flight.
Yeah, the bird show, which I was very excited for the bird show. And I think you enjoyed it more than you thought you would, didn't you?
Well, I like bird shows. What do you mean?
I don't know. I thought you thought that the presenters wouldn't really do much.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Usually but the presenters were hilarious.
Or they're like really cringy, or they just don't really know what they're doing.
Yeah. But they basically did a show, as you can imagine. Like, it was all scripted and like fully a show. But it was very good. They had loads of birds.
They did.
And like massive ones just flew over.
Yeah. That's always the best, is when they manage to get them to go through the crowd and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was one point, one guy was doing a demo with the people running it, and he was told to hold a dollar out in his hand for the bird to grab, but the bird just did not want to do it.
Yeah.
He would always bail like halfway through and not grab the money. So That was disappointing, but
No, it was really good, wasn't it?
yeah, it's cool.
Stuff like that is like nice to do, and it was so chill getting in and out. Like you just rock up, you
it's
just
quite
sit
frequent.
down.
I think we happened to just walk past it, and then it was
time.
Yeah, it was what was going to happen in 10 minutes or so. Yeah, it is. It's much nicer that way than the show that we did after that. After we kind of faffed around for a bit with Lion King.
Yeah.
Where that became a much more of a pain in the ass to get in and out of for some reason. I guess because it's so popular, right?
Just absolute chaos, though, wasn't it?
It was. Like, logistically, they had no idea how to get people to go inside of this building and sit down on these stools.
Yeah. But also, we had to queue up outside the queue in a pre-queue, like, almost an hour before, because we tried to get one viewing and like people had been there for ages and they were like, there's no chance you're getting in here. So then we waited literally for the next one. We just stood there. So probably for like 45 minutes or an hour we were there in the queue before it opened. Then you're in like the cattle pen queue and like no one's moving up because it's just too wide of a path that no one wants to like squish together. And then they like file you into the room.
But it felt like they were still trying to get people to go into the room literally as it was starting.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know why it's so difficult to.
Well, I guess people just don't move in the way you want them to.
No, I guess not. But yeah, I just find it crazy that we kind of just stood there waiting to know whether or not we were going to make it in. But why? I don't know why.
Yeah.
But even when our one went, there was still loads of space at the back.
Yeah.
So we could have got in.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole theatre was
mental.
Stupid.
Yeah. But the show was cute.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Interesting. It was like condensed Lion King. Well, no, it wasn't. It was like a medley, but then it was like a circus act with like acrobats and what's it called? Trapeze.
It wasn't.
What's it called?
Really anything to do with the Lion King other than it had characters of.
Yeah, and the songs, obviously.
But what songs though?
They sung loads of songs.
Like, but what? Yeah, the main ones, but like.
Yeah.
But not. I feel like some of the songs weren't from the Lion King.
Yeah, they were.
No, some of them weren't. You say every
ones?
single. I don't know, but I don't.
In the jungle, they sang.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was quite good.
Yeah.
Like, in the sense that also kids would have liked it, but it was also quite funny for adults as well. And, like, the circus stuff was impressive. You don't seem very impressed.
No, it was cool. I don't know. I didn't really...
You don't see the point of it being Lion King. It should have just been circus.
I just don't like the Lion King.
Okay.
It's my
there
thing.
we go.
I just don't really care for it at all.
There we go.
You know, it's a bit like the Beauty and the Beast one we watched. Just could not care less. You know.
Okay.
About that.
Yeah.
So, the floats they had, because the room was split into 4 stalls that all faced the middle, and in each corner there were basically like big doors.
Yeah.
And the doors would open and a float would come out, and in each float there was like a different
an elephant.
character.
Yeah,
so there was Simba on one, and Pumbaa on the other guy on another one.
The other guy.
And a giraffe on another one, and an elephant.
Yeah.
Like a waterfall.
Yeah.
And then these monkeys in the middle, or whatever they were, dancing around and on this trampoline thing. I don't know. I just didn't hit.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't
singers.
the best show we saw.
No.
It's just like every show, there's no show that's like low quality in terms of like the dancing, the production. Like it's never like, oh, that was a bit rubbish. Like it's always very good. I guess it's just like you said, like you didn't really connect with the Lion King story.
Yeah, I just don't. But it wasn't even the story. You know, they didn't tell you any of the story. It was just the Lion King characters. It was just good vibes.
Characters. That's what it was.
Well, if you say so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't know. Maybe I was just angry that it took us so long to get.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a stressful time.
Yeah. Anyway, well, we might as well move on to the next show. There's quite a few shows at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, which we did over like different days, obviously.
Yeah, the last one, Nemo, we did on a different day. So
Nemo.
what is it called?
No
I
idea.
can't remember.
It's not Finding Nemo, is it?
No. Nemo the musical.
Deep Blue Sea or something
Yeah,
silly.
it's not like that. This one actually is
This
a
was
synopsis of the
incredible.
film.
Yeah.
But it's a synopsis of the film told by the fish tank characters.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like other shows where, you know, Beauty and the Beast is just the synopsis
A
of Beauty of the
condensed
Beast.
thing.
Literally, yeah, the condensed version of the film. It's slightly different.
Yeah.
Which I think it makes it a lot better in terms of how it flows, you know, because then you can have these characters narrate and say, well, they did this, they did that, and you know, you get to skip.
As if you're like sat around a campfire telling the story.
Yeah, and you get to skip part of the story without it having to feel like jarring. Like, oh, we're now in this part of this story that we all already know.
Yeah.
So.
Aside from the story, though, the way they actually like presented it was mental.
I mean, that's
because
the main
they had
gimmick, isn't it?
Yeah, so they had these like
Puppets.
not puppets, but like
puppets.
But it's like a
puppets.
No, but it wasn't a puppet.
It's a puppet.
No. I don't know what you'd call it.
Character.
Yeah. So like you're holding a massive fish on your shoulder.
A massive fish puppet.
It's more sophisticated than a puppet.
Well, I mean, it's not.
It's not like a sock puppet, is it?
Well, no, but
anyway, big fish, and then some of them had like full on massive like. What were the characters that had like really big things? There was like a massive stingray that this guy on a bike was like basically.
Well, that's the teacher stingray, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so some of them were controlled
some of them
by
were huge.
one person, and others were controlled by multiple people.
Yeah.
Like the sharks were usually multiple people.
Yeah, huge sharks.
Yeah.
Just like every character was like there, but someone was controlling it.
Yeah.
And like the actors were like acting at the same time, but also controlling it as if the fish was talking.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know how they did that.
It's very cool. And even like set pieces, some of the people were just like coral and stuff like that floating around during the set. It was a very good show. That was
so good.
Yeah, it's all of the kind of main parts of. I mean, it was just a spectacle to watch them.
Yeah.
Move around, you know.
But and perform, like the singing was really good.
Yeah, definitely. So, I think that's by far the best show, Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
I think it's just a highly rated show all round. To be entirely honest with you.
So good.
And it's more a normal theatre than Lion King is.
Yeah, well, it's just a big stage, isn't it?
Yeah,
because Lion King's more interactive, though.
Yeah, I get that. But yeah, it's just one big stage that, you know, it's relatively easy to get in and out of. Mm-hmm. Not some sort of absolute chore and nightmare to do it.
Yeah.
So.
That was a little bit of success. Also, It's a Bug's Life.
Yeah, a 4D experience.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that.
I didn't know what it was. Going into it, I just knew it existed and that it was some sort of, you know, show-esque thing that had, 4D things. You know, your typical, it's just a 3D show where things touch you and you get like sprayed with water.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. But it was interesting. I didn't, half of it, again, it's Bug's Life. I couldn't care less about that.
I don't know if we can blame it on the film choice. I think it was just bizarre.
It was bizarre, but I really liked the premise because it was very well integrated in the sense that they had animatronic characters that would come out alongside the screen that just showed 3D content.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just, let's watch a film, which is a bit boring. Every so often, you know, this animatronic would pop out, or the main guy would pop out the ceiling, or the main villain would pop out of the side, and then spiders came down from the ceiling, made all the kids cry, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
it was good, but I can't remember like the actual story. Was it like a talent show?
Yeah.
I feel like the storyline, I can't remember what it was about it. It was something off where like it just didn't really make sense, or it was a bit weird.
Yeah, it was a talent show, I think.
Like that they just wanted to put all the effects in,
Yeah.
and then they just kind of made a storyline to go with it.
It didn't feel very integrated. It just felt
No.
like it was there for the sake of being able to
Spooky.
spray people with water or tickle your legs or whatever. I can't remember what happened.
They did the stabbing in the back, didn't they?
Was it that or the seat moved underneath you, as in like it rippled?
Pretty sure it got
underneath
stabbed
you?
in the back.
Maybe. I can't remember now. Subterra reopened, then you get stabbed in the back as well. So.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
no,
weird.
Again, didn't wait for it at all. Was
Whoa,
never had
yeah,
a
I
queue,
wonder
did it?
why.
It's becoming Zootopia now.
That'll be good though.
Zootopia show.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, that'll be good.
Depends if they put animatronics in it, eh? If they put some animatronics in it.
I'm
then-
sure it's going to be very good compared to the Bugs Life.
Well, we'll see. In 2030, we'll find out, won't we? When it eventually opens to the public. Anyway, let's move on to some of the rides. Expedition Everest. I mean, there's not many rides.
No,
at
there's
this
not really,
park,
is there?
Which is one of the kind of criticism. One of the main criticisms of Animal Kingdom is the number of attractions. Most of the other parks have criticism in the sense that they were a flawed design from the beginning, or the park itself is absolutely horrid to be in, or it just feels tacky and cheap and trying to scam you of as much money as possible. Animal Kingdom feels nice, but just needs more.
Yeah. But I think there's a lot of other stuff to do.
Well, there is a lot of other stuff,
Which is why, I wouldn't say it's lacking overall.
It's not lacking, but it's kind of it creates its own problems by being able to manage crowds.
Yeah.
The other parks just...
You have to add a ride or it's not gonna...
Well, as in the sense of... The other parks are so much more busy, maybe minus Epcot, but Epcot has a lot of stupid rides that exist for some reason. But, the other two, they feel... It's difficult to do all of them. Purely because they get busy.
Yeah.
There's loads of rides at Magic Kingdom that had a 60-minute queue for us that we managed to bypass, and Hollywood Studios is an absolute dire place to be unless you have the Fast Pass, Genie Plus or whatever it is, But Animal Kingdom isn't like that. You can easily do everything in a day, which kind of you then are like, oh, I've run out of things to do.
But I don't think you run out of things to do. I think you run out of rides.
Yeah.
It's not all about the rides.
Rides or shows.
I don't think you could do everything in one day.
I reckon you could do everything.
No.
You could do everything in one day.
There's 3 shows. You're queuing up for Lion King for an hour.
If you really wanted to, you could do everything in one day.
Don't know about that.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't know about that.
Yeah.
What about the little train as well?
Yeah, but you have to be
to go
invested
do some
in that
drawing.
one.
Yeah, but that is another thing you can do.
There are a lot of other things, like all of the animal paths that you can go down, which we did, and just generally see the animals hidden amongst all of the various trails. Yeah, I guess it depends on what you're feeling. That is the main park that is the only park that you can really... Well, that's not true. It's one of the parks you can just sit in and you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And it feels okay to do that.
Yeah.
If you go to Magic Kingdom and you don't do anything, then it feels
stressful.
Part of the same with Hollywood Studios. You just sit there and watch everyone, have a panic attack, it feels like. Anyway,
Expedition Everest.
Yes, let's hear your thoughts on that one.
Absolutely beautiful.
Did you know what it did before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mate, I've seen all the vlogs before.
Oh yeah.
I knew everything. Yeah. Yeah, really good, isn't it? It's funny, like it's a lot more thrilling than I expected it to be. Like, it's a proper roller coaster. Looking at it, I was like, it's gonna be like a mine train vibe, but it wasn't. It's like a lot more forceful and like really, like thrilling.
Well, it's pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
it's chunky as well. Like, it feels massive when you're on it. I don't know why. Cool elements, obviously. Spoiler, it goes backwards as well, which is cool.
What?
Wow.
backwards on that switch track that takes about 15 seconds to swap.
Quite a long time.
It's funny.
But considering like when it was built, it still stands today as like, if you opened that today,
It'd be pretty good.
it'd be like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It's absolutely timeless, that is.
Wow, it's almost like most
They
of
should have been doing that all along.
It's almost like most of the original rides, where they're not based on some silly Disney IP, are going to hold up probably better long term.
Probably.
Than the new stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because it just fits.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting, generally.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is a very cool ride. As you said, it is a lot more forceful than you'd expect.
Yeah. The queue's good as well. Like, it's nice. It's very interesting queue, and it moves so quick that you're never like standing still, which is lovely.
Yeah, the trains are huge, aren't they? They seat so many people, and there's just always one way. It's
constantly going.
Definitely. The way it'd be really interesting to watch. You know, just the trains go around the layout if you remove the mountain.
Yeah.
Because the way it must all be timed.
Yeah.
Is kind of like flawless in the sense that one's coming out the side while one's going up.
Absolute
and it's always,
efficiency.
Yeah, exactly. It's always perfectly timed. And even the layout is like really fairly simple. It's just loads of turns.
It's like a classic. It's like classically good. Do you know what I mean? It's not trying to be anything too crazy, but it's got some interesting bits.
Yeah, backwards.
Yeah.
Indoors in the dark.
Just does it well.
You know, visual effects that you see.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah. I think we've ended up riding that quite a few times.
Yeah, we
mainly
did.
Again because it was
hardly
always
a queue.
Worthwhile waiting for. Always felt like a ride that you didn't mind waiting a while.
But it didn't even feel like you waited because it moved. The queue moved.
Always moved.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't make them like that anymore, do they?
I know, right?
You get stupid rides like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train that does absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And Disneyland Hong Kong are getting this Frozen sled roller coaster, which is like stupidly short. The layout is ridiculously short. I think it does like a twist, another twist, and then one final twist into the brake run. It's crazy.
You are joking.
No. Yeah, it's insane how short it is. Even shorter than Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And Expedition Everest is the only ride you bought merch for.
Mainly because it's one of the only rides that actually has ride-specific merch.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
That wasn't obnoxiously crazy.
Yeah, but what... yeah, I guess. Stuff like Tower of Terror has merch, which
Didn't
I did
really
look
like
at,
any of that.
but there wasn't really any T-shirts or jumpers that were like just normal.
Yeah.
But most rides... See, all of the IP stuff just doesn't have ride merch.
No, because it's IP merch.
Exactly, it's always just, let's buy some Frozen stuff. Or let's buy some stupid Guardians of the Galaxy or fucking Ratatouille. Crap, I don't care. If I like a ride, I want something about the ride.
Yeah. I can't remember what male Avatar stuff there was. Some of the Pandora merch was cool.
The Pandora stuff's good. It's okay. Yeah, I agree with that. It's pretty good. But yeah, no. The only item of clothing I bought was a single Expedition Everest jumper. Was it on the last day or the second to last day?
Yeah. No, the second to last day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was cut and get fine with options.
Yeah. When we saw it, we were like,
that is it. It wasn't even that bad priced either.
No.
So,
look out for it.
Look out for it. Yeah, it's interesting how that ride has so much merch.
A lot of merch.
Big shop as well.
It's because it's an elite ride.
Well, I know, but like relative to some of the other rides, you would have thought, where's all like the Big Thunder Mountain stuff? There wasn't really any, was there? Maybe we didn't look.
Maybe we didn't see it. Surely there is, because isn't that
Mountain?
quite like a culty following for that ride?
Well, I got a little train from it, haven't I? So it must be somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe we just didn't look. To be fair, I wouldn't want anything from Magic Kingdom anyway. So,
fair.
Sucks to suck. But yeah, no. Expedition Everest, very cool. Very cool indeed.
We also had some nice food I think it was from Asia. Do you remember that like spring roll type thing?
Yeah, we had
With
the pork spring rolls and your chicken.
The chicken. What's the chicken? The honey chicken.
Honey chicken.
So good.
Yeah. Our main,
so good.
Main tactic throughout the entire time we were at Disney specifically was to just have one meal and like a side, but have it more frequently.
Yeah, and just share stuff.
So yeah, we had the honey chicken and these pork rolls. They were very good.
Very good. Good food options at Animal Kingdom.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because you have all of the Pandora stuff as well.
Yeah.
Which is very
really
nice.
Interesting stuff.
Well, because it's all themed to where it is.
Yeah,
which
so you actually get
makes
like
it
nice
interesting.
food.
Exactly, you know. If it's Africa and
American
Asia,
food.
then it's just way more interesting than here's a burger, here's a hot dog. You know, it's just it's just stupid. So.
Okay, let's talk about the best ride at Animal Kingdom then.
What, Dinosaur?
Dinosaur. I feel like this just blew us away. Do you not remember? I still remember the feeling of being like just elated by that ride.
Fundamentally,
absolutely underestimated it.
Fundamentally, it's old, stupid, and
cringy,
in a dying state.
Yeah.
But
ridiculous.
It is just funny.
Yeah.
It's the main thing, you know.
And the ride mechanism.
Yeah.
The way that it moves is just so funny.
It's chaotic as hell.
And like it just makes you laugh. Like even if there was nothing else going on, just the ride mechanism alone is enough to be absolutely crazy.
Throwing you around left, right, and centre. It like stops and starts so much. There's a lot to see.
Yeah.
Visually, every room is very dense, full of stuff. The animatronics are funny just because they're so like shaky and floppy.
Yeah.
That they don't, you know, they're all just terrible
Incredible.
Old dinosaur animatronics. But as an overall ride, it is just fun, isn't it?
It's just fun, and like the story is so cringy and just makes you laugh, like the way they're like, oh my god, is that the dinosaur?
Yeah.
And like just the build up of it all is just so funny, like
The iguanodon.
incredible. Yeah, I just think we really underestimated like what it would be like.
Well, I didn't really know what it was.
No.
I knew that it was that car mechanism thing where you sit in a vehicle and it can
Tilt around.
Tilt around, exactly, yeah. But I don't think I'd ever seen like a POV or anything of it.
Yeah.
So I had no idea what it was going to do. But no, very fun ride. The problem is the area next to it. We really did not spend any time at all amongst the Dinoland USA stuff. You know, just because the ride is kind of cordoned off in its own little space. And then just before that, there's like this weird boneyard play area section, which we didn't really spend any time in either. And then to the other side is a funfair-esque, horrid,
very weird car park vibes.
But it was designed like that, you know.
But why though?
Because they had a space to fill, and they didn't want to spend money on filling it.
Just fill it with concrete instead.
Well, I used to have 2 stupid spinning coasters there.
Right.
It was literally themed to being a like on the side of the road attraction.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Still bad though. Still not a very good area whatsoever, and it just kind of sticks out very greatly amongst everything else that's in that park.
Yeah.
You know, that area as a whole is just
weird.
Well,
it just feels like the 90s, and it hasn't changed at all.
I mean, because
it is, yeah.
Yeah, but it's the one next on the chopping block, and the whole thing is still to be decided. But at the moment, it seems like they're leaning towards an Encanto, Indiana Jones hybrid. So it's some sort of like South America vibe of an area that leans towards those IPs.
Yeah, I don't know why we're still doing Indiana Jones though.
Well, so they obviously have some sort of vibe in mind, right? They have an area vibe.
Okay, that's fine. If they're going to do it like the other areas.
But I think they know, and I hope they know, that they can't be as obvious with the integration with Animal Kingdom.
Well, that's sort of what they did with Pandora, isn't
exactly. It's not really in your face, and everything complements
natural things.
Yeah, so I think it would have to be that, you know. With Encanto, you might see the house or whatever.
Yeah.
But it would be more heavily on the greenery
Yeah.
and, like, water and streams and that kind of thing. And I think Indiana Jones... Well, because in the dinosaur ride system is used with all the other Indiana Jones rides.
So they're just going to swap that out for Indiana Jones?
Exactly. That seems like
come on.
the thing that they would do, you know. And again, if it is like a South America thing, then that obviously fits in with Indiana Jones anyway, because you've got the whole jungle vibe.
But don't they have an Indiana Jones show?
Yeah.
Elsewhere?
At Hollywood Studios.
Right.
What was that?
Yeah, stupid,
doesn't
isn't
make
it?
a difference.
Stupid.
But again, like, I would imagine that it wouldn't really be that heavily. It would basically be, I don't know, some sort of maybe Aztec, Mayan, I don't know, facade with loads of trees again, and the ride would just be Indiana Jones. So the area isn't really Indiana Jones. Again, it's South America. But when you go in the ride, it's Indiana Jones. Which isn't as well integrated as Avatar is.
Yeah.
In that kind of concept.
I just also don't see how you can link Encanto and Indiana Jones.
Well, you can't. But again, it's all under that umbrella of South America vibe, I think, is what they're going for.
Yeah, I just don't like it.
No,
one or the other would make more sense to me.
Yeah, but you can't have a whole area themed to Indiana Jones.
You can to Encanto.
You could to Encanto, but it's just ease, isn't it? Ease of what would your Encanto ride be? What would your Encanto ride be?
Something to do with
that ride
that
system
kid,
as well.
That kid who does the animals.
Because they obviously want to retrofit the ride system.
The kid who does the animals.
There's no cars in. in
cars
Encanto.
going through the village.
No cars in Encanto.
Yeah, I mean,
it's basically
Encanto boat ride.
Well, yeah, but then they want to reuse their existing ride
Yeah, well,
system
it's
and
stupid.
attraction.
Don't have Encanto involved
They
then.
want to reskin it. Yeah, but then, as I
Yeah.
said, you can't.
Right, well, they're just being
Basically-
cheap. They're just being
Of
cheap.
course, they're being cheap. That's always.
So stop it,
They've
isn't
got
it?
two things they want to do, which is spend as little money as possible and tag as many IPs to it as possible.
Stupid.
And that's
Anyway,
the way forward. But it's better.
it'd be better than the car park.
It's better than Zootopia and Moana.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, they can't do
think-
Moana because they've just done Moana in Epcot, haven't they?
No, they could. I think Moana would be better.
You can't do double Moana.
But it's not really Moana. It's this tiny.
No, but they wouldn't
interactive
do
water.
double. They wouldn't do double.
Well, they're about to do double with Indiana Jones.
No,
and
but they've
Indiana
only got a
Jones.
show though. Anyway,
Well, what's the difference between an interactive water experience and a show?
I don't know.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Look, man, Disney have no rules at this point. It's just, slapping IPs
The
left,
rule
right,
is
and
let's
centre.
not spend any money,
Wow.
even though we have loads.
So yeah, you can look forward to
Yeah,
that
can't wait.
in,
Can't wait for that.
2030 again in
Cool.
at least 7 years' time.
Well,
'Cause
we
it
won't
took-
be going back until at least 7 years'
No.
time. So
Well, they announced Pandora in 2011. That opened in 2017. They haven't officially announced that that's what they're going to do yet. So they announced it next year, 6 years on from 2024. It's 2030.
nice.
Good. Happy days. So... And they won't even be adding anything new. Unless they build a Encanto boat ride.
Which
maybe
they're
they
probably
will.
not going to do.
But they've already got a boat ride
Yeah,
in Panny D.
Panny do.
So... Anyway, terrible area. Get rid of it.
Best ride in the park though.
It's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's put everyone out of their misery and spend the last 2/3 of the podcast
Yeah.
talking about Pandora.
Yeah.
Off you go then.
Just don't. How do you explain? It's just the best area we've ever been to. Ever.
It's very cool. Yeah, I think well, one, it's got its own weenie, which I'm not
Yeah.
sure many areas have that. I guess the Star Wars area has its own weenie, which is the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Maybe all the new areas do have. Toy
They're just
Story
on
does have
another
its own weenie.
scale.
Yeah, they're on another scale. For sure.
Pandora is like
Even looking at
genuinely as if it's real.
even looking at Universal Studios, Diagon Alley has its own weenie, which is the dragon on top of the bank, Gringotts. So, yeah, there you go. Weenies within weenies, man. It's getting too deep. Anyway, it is another scale.
Yeah. Everything looks real, but also not real at the same time.
Yep.
Everything is so detailed, like you can't even describe. Like if you just took a random 5 centimeter square sample of the area, like anywhere, it would have so much detail in it. Even the floor was like iridescent with patterns and like it was alive. The floor was alive. And then, yeah, just then you go there at night time and everything looks completely different because the way they've made it all like light up and glow and
luminescent,
but all in different ways. You just have to see it. Like it when you take a photo of it and you look at it, you just think, no, that's not what it's like. It's like
it really does hit different.
Really incredible.
As you said, everywhere you look, there is detail, and it never feels like you. As in, when you're in there, you can't see out of there.
Yeah.
You know, you never feel like you're anywhere else. You're always there, and even, you know, there's obviously this huge, well, multiple huge theatres for the flying theatre ride. Right behind.
No indication at all.
But there's this whole rockwork facade with so many plants and a waterfall that hide it all. You know, it's crazy. Yeah, the level of detail and the way that it's built and the way the floating islands just kind of hang there is incredible.
Everything down to like is similar to Star Wars, but like when you eat at the restaurant, the trays that they give you to carry the food are different. Like all the plates are different to normal. Like it's like fully immersion where you're not getting like a Mickey Mouse plate, plastic plate or whatever. It's like fully, I
think one of the things that I feel these big theme parks have realised when building new areas is that they can't make them like linear. In terms of the way they design the paths.
Organic.
As soon as you have one straight line, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So like...
But not even just fully straight line, like a wavy but straight line.
Yeah.
Do you know like...
just one line.
Yeah, but do you know like when you walk through Toy Story Land?
Exactly. You can't have just one line.
You can't do that, yeah.
You need... Your area needs to have different paths that meet up with each other. Obviously, you know, with Star Wars, they have 2 entry points. So... At some point, they have to all come back into one. But within that, there's paths that you can go down that will loop round. You need loops, basically.
And you can never see, like with Toy Story, you can see, if you're standing at one end, you can see all the way down.
Yeah.
There's no stuff in the way that like blocks your view and things like that.
Same with, you know, Hogwarts and that area in Islands of Adventure, it is just one line.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel right. Gringotts, again, has the whole... other section, and on the other side you have the little back alleys as well, and again that helps to make it, even though you can see straight down the middle, you can't see everything. There's the whole loop, and Pandora is exactly the same, even more to a degree, because the whole middle bit is just paths that you can get lost in, you know, inherently. So it helps to make it feel a lot more real when it is not just one stupid concrete path that you can see down the middle of. And I think they've kind of, not just Disney but Universal and other people have kind of finally realised that actually these big wide paths don't hit they don't fit the vibe. And I think that's one of the problems with Magic Kingdom. Even though it is a loop, most of the areas aren't loops. They're just big straight lines that lead to other big straight lines. And it just feels not real.
Like a theme park.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't... Yeah, but, you know, it just doesn't feel real, is essentially it. So, Pandora feels real.
Yeah.
And it's all helped by the fact that it is just plants.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, if they do go down the route of the South America area, they know that if you stick plants in an area and theme it to a nice... Basically, if you theme it to nature, people like nature. It's almost like people go and see nature anyway. So
Yeah,
it really
funny
works.
that, isn't it?
It really works to have nature-themed areas within theme parks because they are just nice.
The endorphins are out.
Exactly. So having this whole, you step in this world where it's all just green and it's all just...
But like incredibly like
dense.
detailed,
Yeah.
unusually.
Yeah.
Like everywhere you looked, you were like, what is that plant? And then, yeah, just...
Even down to the well, you're talking about the lights, but the actual kind of light fixtures.
Yeah.
The way that they're hidden to be natural. They look like...
And the speakers.
They look like plants, and the speakers look like plants, and even some of the railings are, themed in that sense. It's all very well integrated. It's just a very cool area. Anyway, Pandora is home to 2 rides. Flights of Passage and Navi
River Rapids.
River Journey. Not rapids at all, are they?
No.
So, River Journey
I liked it.
is this small piddly boat ride that...
Piddly boat ride.
I mean, it is. It goes like 2 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's very gentle, and it hits the vibe of the whole area, which is gentle and scenic.
Yep.
In the sense that on the ride, there's just a lot more plants, a lot more foliage,
Animals
on screens, which is fine. It's pretty well integrated, even though they are.
I don't
screens.
think you paid enough attention. We should have gone on it twice.
No, I did pay enough attention, as you said.
There's stuff like there was
swirly
big
things.
There was big leaves.
There's frogs on the leaves. I saw it all. It was
the
very
frog
well.
feet.
It was very well integrated.
Yeah.
My annoyance was that there wasn't more spectacle elements. The whole, as I said in the vlog,
The vlog, yeah.
the whole ride was essentially exists to lead you up to the end, where there's the animatronic of the... I don't know what
her name is.
she's called, or what, the necromancer.
Spiritual lady, yeah.
Yeah, the spiritual lady. And she's really cool, but...
Incredible animatronic.
Yeah, but literally the whole thing, it just exists for that. And I don't like that. Yeah. There's a movement.
What would you want then?
I don't know. There's movement. I think my problem is the movement is all small scale.
Yeah.
The leaves are moving. There's frogs on the leaves. There's twirly things, but it's all small. There's no kind of.
But I
drastic...
think it's that thing again of it's trying to be real.
Yeah.
Like if something just popped out at you and went,
true.
"Hi everyone, I'm a frog," or I don't know what
Yeah.
else you'd want them to do, but like it was very real, like as if you were on a river, and there was a subtle movement of a little frog on a leaf. Do you know what I mean?
I wanted maybe a single moment of tension.
There was.
Well, there was.
You know that screen that you probably
Yeah,
hated with the wolfy type
Yeah, I know,
things?
but it didn't hit.
It was like David Attenborough vibes, like they're gonna eat each other.
Yeah.
Sort of
But
thing.
I think that's what I would want.
So you want a couple of like soldiers like walking past you?
Not necessarily soldiers.
Well, what
but
else from...
an animatronic of that creature that, not necessarily jump scares you, but is
angry at
a bit
you.
more in your face. Yeah, exactly. It's
Okay.
and so you have this gentle beginning, builds up to this slightly tense bit in the middle, and then actually it's okay, and here we see the spiritual lady at the end.
Okay.
Instead of it just being all gentle with a tiny bit of... And I have the same problem with like Pirates of the Caribbean, is that there's never any kind of... It's all just flat.
Yeah.
I need it to go up and then have a finale. The finale was great, but it's just flat and then a finale.
Okay, so Frozen you enjoyed.
In terms of the... No, yeah.
The
in terms of the story, I did. More
Okay.
than Navi River Journey. Obviously, I much preferred the aesthetic.
Yeah.
And also the animatronics in Frozen and Epcot, awful.
But I just don't know, like, why do we always have to be in peril? Like, can't we just go down the river?
It's true. Then that's just personal preference to me.
Yeah,
because most rides end up in peril.
Yeah.
But that's what makes them rides.
But this is why... Okay, getting on to, like, Flight of Passage in a minute. But this is why Pandora is so special, because... Nothing is going to kill you, and the world is not going to end.
Flight of Passage.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there is.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there is.
What is there?
You get attacked by the big.
But that's just life. It's David Attenborough vibes.
Life.
It's not that you don't get any of the soldiers coming out to say we're gonna kill your avatars or whatever.
But I don't want that either.
So this is what I mean about. I feel okay. This is a bigger. This is not about the boat anymore. This is a bigger thing.
I get it.
Is one of my reasons why I love Pandora so much is because we're not fighting to save the freaking world for the 50th time that day.
I agree.
You just exist and enjoy the world.
Yeah, most rides do end up being. We're going to put you in danger by accident. You're going to help us to overcome this problem.
So predictable and boring.
Yeah.
And the fact that you do it so many times a day when you're at a theme park, it just gets ridiculous.
Some of the Universal rides are particularly bad for that kind of just general. They're all like just that general vibe.
But it's very rare that you get to do a land like that.
Well, even like Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah.
Is that.
Very well
Smuggler's
done,
Run
but
is
still,
kind of the same thing.
Every time you go on a Star Wars ride, we're saving the galaxy again.
Yeah, exactly.
Which doesn't make sense, like...
No.
But, Pandora just feels more real, I think, because of that as well.
Yes. But the arc of the Flight of Passage, video, whatever you call it, whole experience, it does have ups and downs.
Yes, but it's just the natural world.
I agree.
There's no... But what I mean is, what they could have done is...
Oh no, they could have made it.
We go into the pre-show and oh my god, you need to get into the avatar thing because blah blah blah. Definitely. But no, it's just like, oh hi everyone, do you fancy trying out the avatar? Yes please, let's crack on. And then you just go and live in the world, and there happen to be animals.
That is what makes it so much more refreshing.
Yeah,
because it isn't.
I'm so glad they did it that way.
Yeah. Because
I don't want to be panicked all the time.
No. But I think it fits the whole vibe of the area more.
Yeah.
Because. Otherwise, they're selling it to you as if like you're on this kind of tourism experience. Yeah. Not as in you're somehow in this area and you're in danger.
Yeah, and you're the hero or heroine of the story. No, I'm not. I'm literally at a theme park with 50,000 other people.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not realistic. Yeah, it winds me up. That does. But the way, should we talk about Flight of Passage?
Yeah.
I just don't know if you can do any ride in such a good way as they've done this one. Like this was like born to exist. That makes no sense. Like, okay, Flying Theatre. This is the most elite story, theme, execution of how you can do a flying theatre.
Yeah.
Like,
I think most flying theatres get, well, the concept of a flying theatre is quite old, and when they first came to be, they were interesting because they gave you a different perspective.
Sensations.
Well, different sensations, yeah. The problem I find though is that most flying theatres are just glorified. What's Star Tours? What's that? What would you call that? You sit inside of a capsule.
Simulator.
They're glorified simulators.
Yeah.
Because all they do is show you the world from above.
Yeah.
And you fly.
They're not as intense as a simulator, and they can get more people in them.
But effectively, what's the difference?
Yeah.
The difference is one's a big screen, one's a small screen.
Yeah.
One's more confined, one's more open. Fundamentally, they give you the same experience, right? Until, well, even, like, my point is a bit redundant because I was going to say until you make it story based, but Star Tours is a simulator that's story based and it's good, so I guess it still holds. But
yeah, but what I'm saying, this is what I mean. Star Tours, great. Mythica, whatever that's called, Flight of the Sky Lion, great. Made me cry. Loved it
because it's Flight of Passage.
Flight of Passage is another tier above that.
No, I know it is.
It's like,
but
I don't know how to describe it. The story that they come up with and the fact that you're riding, what's it called? The bird thing.
It's a banshee.
Banshee. Okay. The fact that the story is, okay, we all know Avatar. You're a human being. You hook yourself up to the special machine thing, and then you get to be inside an avatar body who's riding a banshee. That concept paired with the ride mechanism that they do,
It's perfect.
that's unmatched in terms of like, that's
The
elite.
synergy
Yeah.
between the two,
They
story
were made for each
and
other.
the ride system.
Yeah, because literally, it's as if that happens to you.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
It's very well done. In also a lot of rides, a lot of older rides, I guess the new ones are better at this, but the leap between the pre-show and boarding the ride and the ride beginning, those 3 steps, the pre-show, boarding, and the ride itself, there's always a disconnect between, you have your pre-show, then you go through this weird boarding procedure.
Because you've got to get in your seat and stuff like that.
Yeah, then the ride begins and you start to actually enjoy the ride. Whereas this tries to blend it all together.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it can do that because it's under the guise of, you need to get in this equipment to be able to undergo this process.
But that's what I mean.
Exactly. But the second step of boarding to the ride is so flawless in the sense that it blinds you with light. God. And then you are there in front of the screen.
I can't explain to you how shook up I was when that happened, right? Same. So you go through all the pre-show, blah, blah, blah. You sit on your little seat and you're just waiting. And your face is on the screen and you're looking at the little thing on your handlebar. And then what happens is these lights, because you're looking at your face on the handlebar, these lights flash really bright in your eyes. And then after 3 flashes, everything goes dark and the screen lights up as if you've just transported your body into the avatar.
Yeah.
And then you're there on the freaking Banshee. And literally the tears were starting to come at this point because I was like, what just happened to me?
Yeah.
That is just incredible. Because it just I don't know how to describe it. When you go on Flight of the Skyline, you just sit on the seat
around,
and then you go, woo, we're spinning round.
Exactly,
and then the screen is there. And it's
that's what I mean.
No immersion whatsoever. This one is you are on the Banshee.
Yeah.
You're actually on the Banshee, and then that enhances the actual video that you're watching because you're no, but I actually am there. And then you're flying, right? And the Banshee starts breathing in between your legs because the restraint thing's moving, as if the thing's breathing.
Yep.
I can't tell you how shook I was when it happened.
It's all of those layers, isn't it? All by them. If they were all just by themselves, they wouldn't hit as hard. But once you start to layer them up together, it really makes it better.
Yeah.
And that whole thing is one of the reasons that I love Kanan as a roller coaster so much.
Right.
It's because it takes all of these individual elements of how you build a story and make you progress through the stages.
And just executes it brilliantly.
And executes it so that it feels, by the time you're on the ride, you're already so
pumped
hyped
up.
for
Yeah.
that it then happens, right? He puts you in the perfect state for you to enjoy what you're about to enjoy.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a lot of rides that often do that well enough to, reap the full reward of it. But no, Flight of Passage is exactly that. By the time it begins, you are more than ready for it to begin.
Yeah.
And then you've got the screen, you've got the sound, you've got the water in your face, you've got the
soundtrack,
the smells.
Ah.
Yeah, and as a flying theatre attraction goes, some of them can suffer heavily from warped screens and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think unfortunately most of our rides ended up being quite towards the edge.
Yeah.
And I think our last one was relatively central. But even towards the edge, your view is really good.
Really good.
It obviously is better in the middle,
mm-hmm.
and it feels, less weird in the middle, but even at the edge it's still very good. And, I said this in the vlog, but there's a point, I think, quite near the beginning where you are flying through the forest. And if you just keep your eyesight, dead central
mm-hmm.
to the point where in your peripheral vision you can't see anything but screen,
mm-hmm.
for a minute, for 10 seconds or 5 seconds, I genuinely believed it was happening.
Yeah.
And I'd never had that before on any ride, but there you were just... It didn't feel like I was watching a screen.
No.
It genuinely felt real.
And when the Banshee would stand on a rock and then it would take off and
you
it
just
would
felt
dive
like
and it would dive
yeah.
down, and it felt like the airtime that you would get on a coaster that you would get on a coaster.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, how do they do that?
It was very well linked together. I think it helped also that it's more chaotic than most flying theatres are. They ramped it up.
So much detail as well.
Yeah, and that helps to sell the idea of that, basically.
Yeah.
So
it's stunning. The ocean scene, when you fly right down and there's all those like cattle type ones and you're like flying right above them and stuff.
Yeah.
Just, I remember like basically all of it, and it's like 4 minutes long.
Yeah. The only one part of the whole thing that's bad is inside the caves with the light up plants.
Yeah.
Because the 3D effect just completely
it's too
breaks.
dark, I think. Yeah.
You just get chromatic.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Which is a shame, because one of the times we rode it, it was pretty good and it was like really stunning.
You have to wear your glasses in the right way. And if you do that, that scene is fine.
It's such a shame.
But all of the other scenes don't suffer from that problem.
No.
I guess it must.
It's very dark in that cave, though.
Yeah, I guess that must be the reason. Because then
I'm talking as if the cave's real.
No, the colours start to separate, and you see like the yellows and the greens and the reds, all kind of, which is really annoying. But the scene doesn't last very long, and then once you're back into it,
It's weird that this, like, what I'm about to say, but do you know when you go on Darren Brown's Ghost Train and Darren Brown comes on the pre-show and he's like, everything, you know, your reality, and we're going to make you know, what you're scared of, or what, like, as if to say, like, what you're about to do isn't real, but it's going to feel real. That's his kind of message, isn't it? It's like that. It's like a magic trick, and I don't know how it happens. And we rode it, what, 5 times? 5 times,
yeah.
Every single time, it was
good.
Still as magical.
It never didn't hit.
It never gets old.
No, it really doesn't. Yeah.
Genuinely, the first time we did it, I was just nearly crying the whole time. I had tears in my eyes. Like, I didn't know what to do.
No.
I was like, I'm on a banshee. Like, I was so elated.
I don't know. I hadn't seen any of it either. So.
Well, yeah, obviously we hadn't seen any because you can't really film in there, can you? You can't film a screen.
You could watch someone.
Can you? Well, I've not seen it before.
No, but even like the ride system itself, I'd only ever seen like one photo, very briefly, of what it looked like.
Of the chairs.
Yeah, and that was it. You know, so it was all new. And yeah, I think that does help when it is completely, well, fresh to you in terms of selling the whole idea of it's real.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why
incredible.
That's why it's the best ride in, well, Florida.
The world.
Well, we'll find out, won't we? But it is. Like, realistically, in Florida, it's a toss-up between Rise of the Resistance and Flight Passage. I think that's the kind of what most people would say are up there.
But do you know when we used to talk on the podcast about why did rides get to our top 10? Like, say, Boulder. Yeah. Why would Boulder be in our top 10? It's because the feeling it gives you.
Yeah.
Rise of the Resistance does not... Rise of this Resistance is objectively the best.
Well, exactly.
But the feeling you get off of Flight of Passage is 10 times bigger. And
this feeds into me saying earlier that I couldn't care less about Lion King. I couldn't care less about Avatar as a brand.
Me too.
As an IP.
I think it's cool, but yeah, we don't really care about it.
But I have no connection to the people. You don't need one.
No.
Again, because it's nature-based.
The world, yeah.
It's fine.
It's like...
You're already connected to it because it feels real.
Yeah. Because it is almost a David Attenborough documentary that you're flying through, but slightly fantasy.
Yeah.
Which makes it more interesting.
But I think it needs to be fantasy.
Yeah, it does.
If it wasn't fantasy, it would be its downfall.
But it's similar enough to, like, for example, the cattle scene. Yeah. That's like cows running through a meadow. Yeah. But you know, you relate to it enough, but you don't relate to it too much.
It never goes too far to the point where you wouldn't believe it. And I think that's where something like Rise of the Resistance does suffer, because if you don't care about Star Wars, it all means a lot less to you.
But also, we're not actually saving the galaxy. No. So how could you possibly, like, get on board with that idea? Like, you know, when they're like, get in the car and put your seatbelt on it. It's like, no, because we're not actually, like, going to die. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something to be said about making it real enough, but not too real.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just, I think it's a lot more re-rideable than something like Rise of the Resistance is, because it's, you know, even though it's the same thing, and even though Rise of the Resistance, you know, technically has multiple versions that you can experience, it doesn't matter, because exactly as you said, it's about the feeling it gives you, and it's just so different from everything else that it doesn't feel overdone, even when you've ridden it 5 times.
Yeah.
Because it is just so different. You know, you could ride Rise of Resistance a few times and you'd be like, oh yeah, well, I've done Saving the World now. That's, you know, that's cool.
It's draining, man.
I ride Rise of Resistance purely for all of the effects on it.
Yeah.
To see the animatronics, to see the lightsaber coming through the elevator.
But there's only a couple of moments of like specific details like that. Whereas with Avatar, you could sit and just watch that video and you wouldn't see everything until you've done it like 100 times.
You're in it for the entire story, not the specific interesting parts.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it's
insane. I can't
it's something else, man.
describe. I just thought of another thing. Do you know How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah.
And the flying scenes in that. I think it's that sort of thing. Like, there's something about flying on a massive bird that is like insane. And I feel like they just tapped into this like really cool experience that you'd never be able to do a ride that feels like that. But like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's a shame Universal aren't putting a flying theatre for How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
I guess it would be a blatant rip-off, wouldn't it?
I would cry my eyes out if I went on that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
top tier.
It's very cool, and you know, the area as a whole and the ride as a whole really builds upon not just Disney's understanding of how to build rides, but, you know, theme parks' understanding generally of how to build rides, which is to create these multi-layer experiences, you know, where each step helps to build further immersion to the point where, as I said, when you're hyped for the ride, basically. Yeah. Like the whole queue.
Yeah.
You go through a progression of the queue line as well, from the nature to the actual kind of laboratory.
Cave and then the lab and the...
Yeah, and you see one of the avatars in the tubes.
Yeah.
You know, vibing. So it all helps to create that. And, yeah.
It's just a great example, the whole area, of how to do an IP. You know?
Well...
Like...
The example is don't shove the IP in people's faces.
Exactly. And choose an IP that's actually like translatable to a world.
Yeah.
Somehow. I don't if you said to me when I first watched Avatar like all those years ago, oh, they're gonna make that into a theme park world, I'd be like, you can't do that. Because it's too like floating huge rocks. Like that's not a thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you need to build IP areas that feel real enough that you can get lost in them.
Yeah.
Which I think is something like Diagon Alley benefits from, is because it's real but it's not real.
Yeah.
And that really helps.
Like what we just said, where you can relate to it. Oh, that's a bookshop, but all the books are about wands in it or whatever.
It's a fantasy bookshop where things are moving around you know, on their own accord and all that kind of thing. Yeah, it definitely helps to have that. Otherwise, it just becomes silly. And I think Star Wars does that, but I don't think it does it to the same degree, for me personally, as some of the others.
In terms of...
Well,
it's too fantasy.
It's obviously very real. It's just like dystopian sci-fi. It doesn't hit for me. I don't know why.
I think that's more mainstream, though. That's what people expect.
It is more mainstream.
It's like going to a cowboy-themed area.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's just something about Pandora.
Well, again, it's just
magic.
It's just the nature. I really believe that it is the nature bit that makes it so good. Mm-hmm. And if you took that away, it obviously wouldn't be as good. But if you applied that nature element to other areas, they would be better. Like what big theme park areas are so heavily nature based?
No, I can't think of one.
Exactly. And why? I don't understand why.
Even some of the other like Animal Kingdom ones, like Asia isn't that.
No.
Obviously, they all have like their mountains,
bits, but no, they're not. And I just kind of in my mind, it feels like a huge oversight. People pay to go to like botanical gardens.
Yeah.
And pay to go and see nature. Why not build a like fantastic jungle area? You know, like we went to the Lost Gardens of Heligan, and in there is this really themed jungle area with a boardwalk path that goes through it, and it felt theme park-esque.
Yeah.
Why isn't that a theme park area?
Yeah.
It does make sense. It's crazy. It's really crazy. I don't know why. Maybe they'll figure it out. But nature should underpin every theme park area in my mind to some degree. You know, that it should never just be. Maybe that's why I don't like Star Wars so much. Is because there's
hardly any plants.
There's nothing in it. It's all just grey concrete, which is the theme. But I just find that so there's rocks and stuff. But exactly,
it's like a city.
Exactly, it's a city. It's not fantastical in my, because to me fantastical means nature. I don't know. I just like seeing.
You want a Lord of the Rings themed area.
I do. That would be perfect. Exactly, Lord of the Rings themed area. Yeah, for sure.
Hobbit huts.
Yeah, I just want to see nature, man.
See trees are green.
Yeah. Or relatable things to me, like Diagon Alley, where it's a home from home, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, that is.
I feel like we have many more things to say, but we either already said them in the vlog or watch the vlog, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously on Coasterport YouTube. It's just the best, isn't it, really? It's up there.
It is the best.
I don't think it beats Efteling in terms of theme parks.
Well, it suffers from the problem I was talking about earlier, where Efteling has a lot more to do.
And it's more well-rounded in general. Like, there's not one area in Efteling where you think, that's horrendous, like the car park at Animal Kingdom.
That's true, yeah. But, I mean, that could easily be patched for Animal Kingdom, in 10 years' time.
Exactly.
So... No, yeah. But that is the problem. But that's a problem that underpins pretty much every what's the word I'm looking for? What do they call resort? Every resort suffers from the problem of most resorts suffer from the problem of we got one part that's good or one part that's bad, or we're allocating our resources so thinly across all of these parks that none of them are ever going to be very good.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Whereas if you just focus, if you focus 70 years on one park,
and you're not for profit,
exactly, and all the funds go back into the park, it turns out pretty well. And again, Efteling, very nature based.
Yeah, I was just racking my brains when you were talking about nature areas, but they don't have
it's not nature area. It's just the entire vibe.
Yeah, it's very
again,
naturey.
It's kind of why I like Haunted House
nature
so much, and I don't like Fantasyland as a general park.
Yeah, Fantasyland's more city vibe.
It's too dense. It's too concrete.
Yeah.
It's not obviously concrete, but it's just not. Yeah, I really need just space.
You need to get out more to the parks, man.
I just need some green space in there.
Okay.
Some bit that kind of grounds it all back to reality.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of parks don't include that. Because, why would you include nature when you can go somewhere else to see it?
Another example is Polton's Park, which has a lot of naturey.
Yeah.
The plants, even just the plant beds.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Make a difference.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there you go.
Animal Kingdom.
It's the best of the Orlando parks, for sure.
Yeah.
Just because it's not an absolute nightmare to be in, like the vast majority of the others.
Yeah.
So.
We didn't even talk about the animals, really, did we? We did look at all the animals.
Yeah.
And we did do a little train. The train was pretty pointless unless you want to do the drawing thing.
Yeah, I think we went at the wrong time, really, with the petting zoo and everything.
Yeah, we did pet a goat or two.
And then there's the rapids, but the rapids were closer maintenance when we were there.
Yeah.
But they're not meant to be that great anyway.
That's okay.
So, yeah, maybe we'd feel a bit better if the rapids were there. It's tiny.
True, it's another ride.
It's another thing. Anyway, Animal Kingdom, very good.
Very good.
Next time, we will go back to discussing terrible theme parks as we look
Yeah.
at Universal Studios Florida.
Oh.